wow. The only thing I need to do is make a little announcement on the thingy because I'm supposed to do that even though. Okay. And then we can pull the thingy on there to use it later. Okay, cool. Hey, we made it. Awesome. Welcome to session 0 of Curse of Strahd. How is everybody today?
Hey, pretty good.
I'm doing pretty alright. I still have a cough and whatnot, but better.
I'm glad you're a little better at least. I've been super busy at work today. I've been going all around the place at work. I've been doing new training and I've been working on getting a new apartment. So it's nice to be able to sit down and do this and not have to worry about that for a little bit. Well, not everybody here knows each other yet because we've added some new people. I know everybody knows me. I'm Peter. I'm Mungeon Dastard.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Are we supposed to go around, or is this?
Yeah, John, who are you?
Yeah, start with the person on my left. So if you're sitting to my left, go ahead.
I guess.
Let me think. My left is north.
Right underneath you.
I don't know. I don't know who's to my left.
Never mind.
I don't think it's you.
John, who are you?
If your left is north, then it's
John, oh,
it is me? It is me?
Oh, okay,
Obviously
it's you. It was clear. I thought it was pretty clear.
You said it wasn't. Okay, you know what? It's fine. We'll start over. My name is John. What am I supposed to share? Is that it?
You can just introduce yourself as much as you want. If that's good enough for you, it's good enough for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good enough for me.
I know, that's, I am about to graduate again. Yeah.
Double graduate.
That's right. Round 2. Second time.
2 out of 3?
It'd be fun enough the first time.
I guess it'd be 3 if you count high school. I don't really count that one, I guess. Yeah, I feel like I'm just talking. Somebody else needs to go now.
My objective is to make you all feel as awkward as possible, and it's working.
6.
Everyone say 2 things about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And if you were fruit, which fruit would you be and why?
Oh, God.
Star sign, I need your...
Lately, I've been liking the kiwi because I feel like people don't realize you can just eat the outside.
Oh.
I don't know how that relates to me.
I mean, that's technically true of any fruit, isn't it?
I wouldn't eat a pineapples outside.
But you could. Maybe a coconut's like the only one I can think of where you like actually could not.
Peter, I don't know if you could do a banana, but that would be pretty difficult. Anyways, there's my fruit. I'm going with the kiwi today.
Okay. You're kiwi, great.
Yeah.
Next.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm Kaza, or Kaz, or Kai, whatever you want to call me. Pronouns they, them. I'm 23. I work part-time. And I like hanging out with these losers.
Clap, clap, clap.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good point. I forgot to say pronouns he, him. I knew I was forgetting something, Peter. You let me fall.
Oh, yeah, and your age. You're like 30 or whatever.
I'm getting there. 26 right now. There you go.
Oh, so old. I'd hate to be 26.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, I'm Kasper. I'm called Kaz, but for simplicity's sake, just please call me Kasper.
Yes, we have Oz and Kaz.
Yeah, let's make this easy. I use they them pronouns. I recently started taking testosterone, so that's pretty cool for me. That's a fun fact for you.
Your voice is getting much deeper.
Yes.
What's your fruit?
I'm getting there, Jonathan.
Hey, don't rush.
I am also 20. I'm 26 years old. And sometimes I feel like a banana. getting peeled and discarded.
Okay.
Damn.
Deep.
Yes, very deep.
As to, by the way, while we're doing this, if you want to go to the website links in our Discord and join the Roll20 game and get in there, feel free to.
Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, it's the very first one in
Hold
there.
on.
It's link number 1.
Oh, that's been in
Damn.
there since January. I think. I
Oh, I
haven't
had no
touched it.
idea.
It's the website links
I'll get
channel. I
to
put the
that.
links to the website in the website's
That's
links
so
channel.
loud.
I was
Oh, yeah,
wondering
we'll
where
need
the
to
Chris
adjust your
Pratt
music
was
volume,
from.
too.
I just dropped all my color-coded markers on the ground. How am I gonna
Yep, there's
scroll
everybody all at
down?
once. There they all are.
Oh, there's even music. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can adjust your volume accordingly.
Well, we haven't done all the introductions yet. So.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I have.
Okay, I'll say my name. I'm Nick. Hello. I think I'm the oldest. Yeah,
Mhm.
probably.
I don't think it's by too
'Cause
much, but
I
I
am
think yes.
28. Oh, why am I hearing? Oh, I'm getting attacked in Minecraft. I should stop playing that.
Get off Minecraft!
Yeah, I heard some damage noises. That freaked me out. Okay, yeah, and I don't think I have a fruit that I don't really like fruit. I think pineapples are pretty good and honeydew are nice, but Kaz always steals the honeydew, so I don't get to eat any of that.
It's so good.
It's not about what fruit you like, it's about what fruit you would be.
Oh, next question.
Okay. You're a tomato.
Oh no.
Oh, that's rough.
No one wants to be the dreaded tomato.
No. Oh Christ, am I next?
Think so.
I think so.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm Riley. I'm also 23. Pronouns she, her. I forgot every fruit ever. I'm gonna say a peach.
Ooh, it's a good
I
choice.
forgot about those.
If I was
I
a
like-
fruit, I would be an apple because I'm unoriginal. That's why I'm running a module instead of my agent fruit.
Damn.
You'd be a rotten apple with a worm in it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Because
choose a
I'd be an apple because I've got worms in me.
Oh wait,
Wait,
that's
who
right.
isn't a fruit?
Kaza didn't choose a fruit.
No?
Nectarine.
Wait a
Ooh.
second.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I have
I
to
have one
periodically,
of those.
I've just noticed, it's good to catch this early, I have to periodically click onto the spectator Roll20 page or it won't update. Either that or I just have to leave it up on my second monitor. Okay, that's good to know.
Interesting.
Alright, anyway, yeah, that's everybody. Hi. Yes, we recruited one more. This is our Tomb Annihilation squad plus a couple extras. So
Yeehaw.
that's what we're coming off of is Tomb Annihilation. So I did traumatize our 3 holdovers who will never play the game the same way again by killing them repeatedly. This is hopefully going to be a little bit different. So yes, this time it's Curse of Strahd. So for those of you who are not familiar with Curse of Strahd, the basic premise of Curse of Strahd is if you see the handsome gentleman on the right hand side of the screen there, that's Mr. Strahd von Zarevich. He's a vampire, and he's not a very nice gentleman. You're going to be at odds with him and his curse, as it were. Because if you look closely here, you can see there's a curse.
I'll be damned. It's right there.
It's right in front of me the whole time.
This module is a pretty sandboxy, pretty open. It has a lot of gothic horror themes and lots of like horror tropes, especially from older movies. So like you got your werewolves, you got your ghouls, your Frankensteins, obviously got your vampires, all that sort of stuff is to be found in this module. And as such, it opens a lot of room for the characters to play with those themes and the themes of power, at what cost, and the deception and the trusting each other, blah 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 blah. So I want to do a little more of an in-depth session 0 because this is a very open and it's very lore-rich setting as well. So there's a lot you can really sink your teeth into if you want to put in the effort. So For this one, I want to do an extended session 0. So I know that several of you at least have a concept for your character prepared ahead of time. I don't know if everybody's quite gotten there yet, though. And if you haven't, that's fine. We're working on that now. But for those of you who do have that ready, I want characters in our party to be roughly familiar with each other. I'm sorry, am I missing
Chris
something?
Pratt.
Yeah.
We're all Chris
Oh,
Pratt.
you're becoming Chris Pratt.
Everyone's turning into Chris Pratts.
Fair enough.
So-
Here, I can be Chris Pratt too. There.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Oh boy.
Chris Pratt is my test dummy to make sure that my games are working correctly.
He's been in a lot of games so
Yeah,
far.
He's always here. People remember Chris Pratt. Okay, but anyways, yeah, so I want to make sure your characters have some connection to one another. I want to keep the connections enough so that you're familiar with each other enough to want to cooperate, but not so familiar that you would trust each other innately, perhaps. So I posted a little bit of stuff earlier, also in the website links to those links to the Fiasco sort of D&D adaptations that are on dysonsdodecahedron.com, the blog page. Those are from they're adaptations of a system from a game called Fiasco, which is a really cool, like, sort of everything falls apart type of role-playing game. Very cool. Recommend checking it out if you like that sort of thing. But there's like tables to help determine how your characters are like tied to each other. So those are just some tables he adapted for use on tabletops. You don't have to use those directly, but I think they should be good inspiration if you want to flip through those in the background.
Okay.
More directly, I'll go ahead and share a little bit about, for those again who are newer here, where we're starting at and what our little intro hook will be to this adventure. So it's my homebrew setting, which is currently I'm going with the running name of Grist right now. I don't know if it's going to stick. The continent name I like a lot though is Mayho. It's an eastern continent based a lot on tropes from regions such as the eastern continents of the real world, as well as South American and some Polynesian elements as well. Here we'll be starting a small village called Kuri, which is chestnut. Also, it's in the middle of a chestnut forest. It's a fairly small village of 50 to 100 people. The general premise here is that the town has been having issues recently with werewolves. Twice in the past 2 weeks, there have been a nighttime raid by werewolves where they have abducted one or more children from the village, which is obviously insustainable. With the werewolves in question being a little more of a challenge than the local militia is up to, and fear that larger response from the Celestial Empire, which is the sort of authority over the entire region as far as this is concerned, would take too long to get there. The town has sort of cobbled together you 5 as the most capable individuals and offered you a decent sum of gold if you are able to take down these werewolves and perhaps rescue any remaining children who are alive that have been taken. So that's sort of your intro hook, is that you've basically been hired to go after some werewolves. So with that sort of background in place, all of you will be in this village, obviously, and all of you will have at least been in this village for a little bit of time to give you some investment and renown with the locals and have time to meet each other. So for those of you who do have your character concepts sort of together, even if they're not complete, like you're missing a name or you don't know what class you want to do yet, just as long as you have an idea of where you want to go with it, if you want to sort of walk us through your character on an introductory level, you can start thinking about how these characters might know each other, and maybe it'll inspire other people to have an idea for their character as well.
Nice. I can go first. I think my character fits pretty well into the hook already. At least the idea I have for this character. I am interested in playing a human fighter who is a guard, like part of the town militia of Curry. So it's a little bit of buy-in right there, and also a little bit of the connection to the town that he has to potentially help if other people are adventurers or maybe not connected with like the military or the town guard. He's like a point of contact to be like, here's what the town's about, and here's why it's really important that we fight out these werewolves.
A good local source there. And then, if you want to look at more info on the setting in general, players, there is a link to that WorldForge wiki page I have. If you go to the menus, you can find a section on Mayho, and everything under there you can read up, and it'll give you some background on what makes that region unique, especially compared to the rest of the world and other settings. Anyone else want to share anything about their initial character concept?
I am trying out being an Aasimar paladin. Since the Nephilim race seems to be very rare in this area, he is from Maho, and yeah, my character concept is trying to deal with like the balance between the creation and destruction of it all. Yeah, I don't know. He's just trying to be very helpful. He's kind of like a wanderer. He kind of travels from town to town, just helping people out with their own issues, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without giving too much.
Yeah, so the Nephilim race is essentially, for purposes of 5th edition, can include either Tieflings or Aasimar mechanically. It's just people who have been touched by divinity in one way or another and show traits of either angels or devils or some other servitors of the divine. And they tend to face some discrimination because there's a large sentiment, whether true or not, that they bring the conflict of the gods with them wherever they go. So dealing with some of those sorts of issues. Background info on that as well, very briefly, is that there's basically two opposing ideologies among the gods. There are followers of creation, there are followers of destruction, which roughly aligns with good and evil, but not perfectly. And they're always throwing hands, which causes problems for everybody.
Yeah.
So yes, it gets caught up in a lot of that sort of thing. Plenty of points to play with from there. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up right away?
I can go into my guy if I want to. Is that okay? My character is a half-elf grave cleric. He is a grave keeper because everybody lives, everybody dies. And I feel like his stance on, obviously, the werewolf attack is that everybody dies, but no one needs to die too early. So he's gonna do everything he can to stop it.
Mm-hmm. Every town needs a gravekeeper to tend to their fallen. That's 3 out of 5. John, I don't know if you had stuff put together yet, and Riley, obviously, you're the newest to the group, the server, so if you don't have anything ready yet, you can just look through stuff for the moment.
I have 2 ideas for a character. So I have like 2 characters sort of like built up that I could either do. I have one that is a tiefling cleric, twilight cleric. Funnily enough, whenever I made this character like years ago. Funnily enough, whenever I made the character, her father is actually a werewolf. I don't know if that would add to it at all. The other one that I have is a Aasimar Divine Soul Sorcerer. That's what I plan to do with it, at least. I figured I could go with either one. That one I don't have as much of an idea for in terms of backstory, the use of like what reason she's there and stuff.
Yeah, so I mentioned this at another point. As far as the character creation is concerned, this is for our players in the Discord channel. In Assemble Your Party, under the pinned messages, I have like 5 questions that I think will be really useful to have answers for, to give you a connection to the module that I can play with, as well as to help flesh out your character. So if you want to look at those, or keep listening for a bit to see if any further inspiration hits you about the setting or the module or anything. Or just work on fleshing one of those ideas out a little bit and thinking about how they might tie into things. John, did you have anything, any ideas for your character yet? I know you were throwing some things around. I don't know if you settled though.
It's extremely loose.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept it pretty loose. I think people are more prepared than me, but
that's fine. There's no minimum level of preparedness.
Oh, good. Then I'm getting an A+.
Okay.
I was thinking that I would be in Maho researching the spirits, because you said that was a popular thing of sages and scholars to do, and I was leaning towards either being a wizard or an artificer. I think it's going to be a wizard, and I think I was once a wizard's apprentice myself, but now I'm trying to catch my big break. I still got to figure out what job I have in this town, though, that helps me fund some of my research.
So I can help with that with my DM powers. So the Celestial Empire has three sort of main branches of things which it meddles with. It has the Emperor's Arm, which is like their army. It keeps the people safe under their authority. There is I think it's the Ring of Gold, I called it. I'll have to check the name for sure, but they're like merchants. They make sure that the money is moving and that people have what they need. And then there's the Tower of Knowledge. That's like where all of the like research and industry is centered. So all of the masters from there, those are like the sponsored individuals by the Paragon of the, I don't remember. I have to pull up my wiki page. There's a Paragon for each of those. They're all Paragons of something starts with an S. The Paragon of the Sword, the Paragon of the Scale, and the Paragon of the something else. I don't remember. Oh, it's the Seal. The Paragon of the Seal, yes, is in charge of the Tower of Knowledge. They appoint masters, and those masters recruit students, and each of those masters furthers their own specialty field by that. So there would be a Master of Spirits for sure. You might have been a student or an assistant to this Master of Spirits who is receiving funding through this master to examine the spirits in the area or something to that degree. That could be your career, is essentially as a researcher for the Tower of Knowledge.
That could be my career.
Or something like that. Or you could be individually, funded, maybe selling your results or something. That's just an idea. Something that already exists.
Okay. Then I was probably going to be a gnome, I think.
Gnome.
Yeah, I'm going to be the little guy this time.
I always appreciate a little guy. So the other thing I'd ask from that point on is, like, are you a native of Mayho? And then beyond that, are you a native of Puri? Or are you just there?
I was thinking I came from someplace else, that I'm not a native, but that this is where I am trying to figure it out, you know? I know that one of the spirits, I was reading that, or one of the, the, like, god, question mark, of the land, was once a human?
Yes.
I thought that process would be a very interesting one to study and see what potential there could be for either increasing... Oh man, my science stuff is gonna boil over. Years of healthy living. No, it's gonna to help people live better, or to, extend life, wherever it may lead. I don't know, but figuring out what that process might look like from studying the spirits.
Yes. You would not be the first or the last to research Lingxi, the the Solar Emperor, who oversees the Emperor of the Celestial Empire. Many have craved the secrets which he used to ascend to spirithood, pseudo-godhood even. That is a very popular field of study, especially for outsiders. Ooh, there are two other continents that you could be from, which you may or not be familiar with. There is Canis, which is the more traditional fantasy setting as far as D&D goes, with your European themes. More of a Renaissance period, 1800s. The setting as a whole has a 1800s themed technology and aesthetics to it. Or there's the Powder Lands, which is a Cowboy Yeehaw setting, inspired by early American history, with your trains and guns and things like that to the south, whichever one of those.
Is there one in particular that might fit, like because I was looking at, I think, a rock gnome, because I wanted to tinker with some things.
Well, I mean,
although it sounds like it might fit in either.
Yeah, I mean, so they've all got their pros and cons. Powderlands does not have any native peoples. Every single person who's there nowadays has come from overseas. It's unknown if there ever were
really?
native peoples. Yes, it's all like that. It's like that Magic the Gathering setting they made, except that they ignore the Cactus people in that. Outlaw Junction or whatever it's called. Thunder Junction. That one. It's like that kind of. So the gnomes would be, there are actually gnomes also that can be found on Mayho as well, but Canis also. You could definitely be from either one of them. There's definitely a very large sort of a science and tinkering scene in the Powderlands, especially with the new technologies and resources there. But then there's of course also new technologies happening in Canis as well, and that would be have a more rooted history for the gnomish people there.
That's also where my character is from.
Yes.
Canis.
Also something.
Oh, at least for so far.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll do that one then. Mm-hmm. We can have like a connection to each other if we're both from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could work on something. One of your ties could be with Nick's character, and that could give you a way to know each other for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So for
I like the idea of being a little inventor.
For a little bit of meta purposes, the current classes people are looking at, there's a fighter, which I will write. I have very good penmanship. Nick is looking at a fighter. Kasper is looking at a dexterity paladin.
I would do a strength fighter, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know if that matters, but it doesn't really.
And balancing is not the most important thing, but I would recommend at least a capable party, just so you stand a chance against the module's more difficult encounters. You have John as a wizard, and then Kaza is looking at a grave cleric. And then Riley was initially looking at either another cleric or a sorcerer, both of which have a divine theming to them.
Yes. I want to have some sort of healing.
It's good enough. You got your bases covered there to a degree. Should have worked well enough.
Yeah, I feel like we do.
Mm-hmm. So do any of you have any immediate, well actually first, let's ask if there's any questions anybody has for me so far.
In terms of clerics, how is following the gods working? Since these are
great question.
Different gods.
I have a lengthy page on the World Anvil about how magic functions. So let me actually pull it up very quickly. So magic is split, for the sake of convenience, into 4 essentially domains, which dictate how it works. So in the homebrew setting initially, let's see, it's under thing because it's a phenomenon, right? Yeah, magic is a term broadly used to describe a range of phenomena which defy the natural laws we normally live by. Specifically, magic refers to the utilization of the lingering powers, the true gods, and the greater gods that shape reality. So, a very quick background information is that there were tiers of gods. There were 2 gods called Ordun and Nila, who are the gods of creation and destruction. They each made 3 more gods, and then Nila and Ordun were like, we hate each other, and they both fought, and they both basically killed each other and exploded. The other 3 gods from each side they left behind were like, well, that's no good. So they did a little bit of plotting to find a way to circumvent all of the gods just killing each other. So when they fought each other, they basically poured all of their power. So the 3 remaining greater gods, as they're called, the second generation of destruction, as well as the 3 greater gods of creation, into the first soul, which they shattered and spread to every living creature in the universe. The soul that they created is what gives creatures the ability to use magic. And it does that by basically gathering and filtering the sort of floating remains of the dead gods into creatures and letting us borrow their ability to manipulate reality. it's split into several fonts depending on how you call upon that magic power. So holy casters, clerics and paladins, draw on the font of mysticism, which it pulls upon the authority of Enris and Savas, who are the sort of lawful good and lawful evil gods. So mysticism, otherwise known as the magic of the persona or the superego, is rooted in the will of Enris and Savas, each sought to enact upon reality. To draw upon the font of mysticism, a practitioner embodies their own concept of perfection to force their vision to become reality. Typically, it demands a great amount of introspection, understanding, and self-control to draw upon this font of magic. Practitioners of mysticism who are unable to adequately embody their concept of perfection find their access to this font cut off. Mystic magic often manifests as raw power with no need to masquerade as anything of this world. It is often used to directly cure and inflict wounds and ailments, to conjure and dispel wards, and to summon or banish magical beings. So, TLDR, the way you access the font of mysticism is by believing your actions to be just and righteous, which is most easily achieved by following in the footsteps of one of the gods and enacting their will. Hence where clerics come from. So essentially, if you believe yourself to be acting in the will of a god and following in their teachings, then you can use your perceived self-perfection to create magic. I will go ahead and I will make a direct link to the magic page because there's a lot of words on there that explain how the magic is made reality, because I think that's a very interesting thing to have fleshed out. I will post it in website links. Feel free to read as much or as little as you want. Oh wait, that's the WIP dashboard. You can click on that if you want, but I don't think it's going to do anything. let me correct that link here. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to go into the actual viewable page, and I'm going to navigate to Grist, and then under Grist it's going to say Magic, and then I'm going to share that in the website links channel. There you go. Okay, did that make any sense at all, or was that just a bunch of confusing rambling? If it's a bunch of confusing rambling, then maybe just read the website page, and I can answer questions from there.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, King.
You're picking it up, okay. Yeah, you can read up on
you
there.
just read the mysticism one, right?
Yes. So there are.
Okay.
So for other magic
There's
users,
many.
there are 4 general categories. There is mysticism, which aligns with divine magic. There is primalism, which aligns with druidic and natural magic. There is idism, which is your sort of arcane magic, and there's occultism, which is the extra 4th category, which is like magic that scholars have been frustrated by, like bards and sorcerers. That doesn't really fit into one of the other categories.
Okay, I understand.
The setting was built primarily with Pathfinder in mind, but it works with other systems as well. So yes, if you're going to be a wizard or artificer, you might want to read the idism section.
That's what I was just peeking at, yeah, because I think I'm definitely going to do one of those too. Although, looking at what else we have going on, I might start as an artificer, and then the tool proficiencies are very appealing to me to have.
Drink my drink. That was a lot of yapping. Okay, any other questions at the moment?
Ooh, do you think that Divine Soul Sorcerer would still fall under occultism?
So sorcerers, yes, would, because sorcerers do not have to draw upon the font normally. They can just shoot the magic straight out of their soul raw. The Divine Soul method just means that the shape of that magic and the reason you can blast it is because of divine influence. They have basically given you a tap on your soul that you can open up to shoot magic out, for whatever reason that might be. So yes, it would still be technically occultism. In terms of like lore and background to the setting, obviously, gameplay, you're a Divine Soul Sorcerer. It works as a Divine Soul Sorcerer does.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions at this moment?
In terms of gods, you have the greater gods and true gods in here.
Yes. there are more than that. I have a list of the 3rd generation typed out, but even beyond that, there are more because everything. So the 1st generation is like Neela and Ordune; they're the true gods. Then the 2nd generation is the greater gods, which are the 3 they made themselves. The gods from the 3rd generation are made by the gods from the 2nd generation. Anything from that point on and lower is so far stepped from the power of the greater gods, which in turn is so far stepped from the power of the true gods that they're just referred to as lesser gods. But they're also all that's left because the other ones are dead. They can still bestow power since their corpses are basically dust in the entire universe, but they don't function like the lesser gods do as actual beings essentially. So I have a list of the 3rd generation lesser gods typed out, but there are also more than that we can either create ourselves or I can create one for you. I just haven't put those all in there yet because there's 18 of them. But I certainly can tell you what some of them are if you'd like. I don't know if any of them are going to fit the concept you had or that you were telling me about before perfectly, but I will go ahead and tell you what they are if I can open my folders correctly. Alright, because it's in the new set and who dis folder. I think they're in here. Yes, okay. So I'm just going to read this off. Okay, so on the side of creation and the side of destruction down there. Okay, so you have Ordune, who is creation. You have Enris, Faroth, and Derivo. Enris is the god of order, honesty, and fairness. Faroth is the god of life, growth, and movement. Derivo is the god of hope, novelty, and freedom. Those are the greater gods of creation. On the destruction end, you have Neela, who is the god of destruction, nothing, and endings. You have Savis, who is the god of tyranny, dogma, and despair. Kal is the god of death, decay, and stagnation. Miraz is the god of insanity, falsehoods, and disparity. Those are the greater gods of destruction. The lesser gods typically don't have as strong of an affinity for creation or destruction, being so far down the line, but they do typically align themselves with one or the other, often by their parentage, but not always. So just to read those off, I have typed out so far. There is Echo, the god of complicitness, structure, and form. There is Vengar, the god of justice, retribution, and honor. Gonos, the god of objectivity, facts, and knowledge. Isoro, the god of planet and the elements, harmony and balance. Vitra, the god of flora, fauna, and reproduction. Kanos, the god of passion, magic, and initiative. There is Avril, the god of randomness, divergence, and destiny. Dulaz, the god of subjugation, control, and restriction. Eno, the god of uniformity, influence, and manipulation. Nevma, which is spelled P-N-E-V-M-A, the god of undeath and necromancy, as well as spirits in the ethereal. Crone, the god of time, reversion, and inevitabilities. Holmos, the god of violence, war, and impulsivity. Skototh, the god of secrets, lies, and deceptions. And Whisper, the god of mutability, transformation, and instincts. That's the 3rd generation, but there are more than that as well. Blech. Any questions about any of those or want me to elaborate? I know that was a lot of names and nouns, so...
I will message you.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone else have anything they want to ask in voice chat right away?
Oops, this is the wrong channel. This one.
Well, if anyone wants to connect their character to mine, I'm doing the folk hero background where I'm just kind of vaguely known throughout a couple towns around Curry and stuff, for just being generally helpful. So, I'm keeping it very open. And I'm looking at this fiasco stuff.
Which you can use directly, or it can just serve as inspiration for how those are. And then, like I said, I think that the desires and wants one, whatever it's called, I don't remember exactly. So that can be applied to your bonds with each other as well to give it a flavor or tone, or you can also just use them as inspirations for your character's general desires as well. what they want out of things for like question
yeah.
number. I think it's question 4. I don't remember exactly. I have a lot of tabs open.
Well, for Riley, if for your cleric or your sorcerer, we could have a slight connection since we're both going towards the Nephilim idea.
Oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
So we could probably figure something out with that.
Put our noggins together, we could come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I definitely have nothing right now, though.
That's fair. We have a couple weeks before we actually start the game, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's time to think about these.
Should we roll? Because it looks like it's set up as a D6 table.
You can roll on it if you want, but you don't have to for sure.
It could be fun.
Mm-hmm. If you want.
Might get a little chaotic, but yeah.
You don't have to use the result of a roll either. I want it to primarily serve as a source of inspiration.
All right, Mr. Gnome, you and the human are family.
Okay. I will also say. Right.
But you're the black sheep of the family, or maybe I am. One of us is probably because of the height.
I was gonna say you don't have to have it connect to every other character. I think in Fiasco it's recommended that the player on your left and on your right are the ones you have a connection with. We're obviously online, so you don't have to link yourself to everybody. And also, you don't have to link yourself to the dice rolls. Like, I don't know how a human and a gnome would be related to each other. Like, familial-wise. One's a human, one's a gnome.
You're right.
Maybe
reroll. Could be
one.
adopted.
We're actually siblings.
I'm his dad.
Keep getting a 1.
My dad.
Oh, God.
Not worth
So reroll a d6 entirely to choose which.
Okay.
Careful, next we're gonna be lovers.
Yeah.
4 is secrets.
What are you talking about? No, I'm on the relationships one.
Yeah. It's 4 secrets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know my numbers.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Counting is hard.
We each carry half of a treasure map. I feel like that won't be very relevant.
No. That's what I'm saying is that I don't think these are great to roll on because of the nature of this, because a lot of them are just not going to be able to use. Or like they're over the top.
Right.
Fellowship.
Let me try. 6.
Everyone just wants to roll dice. Go ahead.
Yes.
That's why we're here, Peter.
I'm just curious what happens.
You just roll good as you
Magic.
want.
We could have magic tie us together with.
I don't know what magic is.
Both of us could carry a curse.
Carry a curse.
I don't even know which Chris Pratt rolled that.
All right, Nick. I got something in my head. Okay, so I was thinking that I'd be a relatively old gnome to have traveled around, seen some things, seen some time, but we could have traveled here together.
I don't think that would have worked out.
Oh,
I've been here for a couple of years. Yeah, I think the way that my character got here probably wouldn't have traveled with you.
Oh, okay.
But could have met each other before, either over there or once we got here, and we're like, oh, hey, you're not from here either.
Mm-hmm. An older bond, to be sure.
Yeah, or it could have been from a while ago.
How about that?
How about what?
How about that?
How about what?
How about that?
Oh.
I mean, that could definitely.
But how about that?
Could be a bond, right? So actually, here I'm gonna make a new page. I'm gonna put you on the new page.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm putting you on a new page. So here.
Okay.
Let me bump up my typing size to 72 font.
John.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, we can fit that like this. You can make a web.
Exactly. There you go.
Yes, that's gonna be helpful. Because I was gonna say we need to find ways to connect.
Yeah. So now
Nice.
you can literally draw lines to each other and see how your characters are all interconnected with each other, like that.
Okay, I like
That's
this.
cool.
I like this. Yeah, I think so everyone else is from the region, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't figured out specifically what town though.
Yeah, probably so.
The name of the town you're currently in is Kuri. K-U-R-I.
I know.
Oh.
I know, but where am I from?
Oh, you can make
Other
that up
towns
yourself.
are there?
There's many
Oh,
towns.
okay.
You can
Oh
just make
gosh,
one up.
why is this not
You
working?
can make your own content.
Okay.
So we can be outsiders.
Aha.
And I feel like we'd be drawn together because of that. Because we're
Yeah.
both strangers in a strange land.
So did you meet each other beforehand, or did you meet in Kuri for the first time?
It's a good question. I think beforehand my character was in the like a soldier, because I have the soldier background. So in the army for a while. Is there any way that that would have crossed paths with Wizard Gnome?
What do you think, John?
I was definitely under the tutelage of a wizard for a time. Is there a chance that there's like maybe there's like a wizard who worked for a kingdom that was the same one that he was a soldier under?
Could be.
Oh, for
Could
sure.
be. Yeah, we don't have a lot of the kingdom information yet. I don't know.
You can kind of make some of it up. I like leaving things a little open to have players help inspire how things are put together. So
yeah. Oh, here's
you also
something
don't have to be connected to
interesting
your work, but
that's true. Here's something interesting that I wrote down earlier. That there might be a monastic order of horse breeders and record keepers. I just kind of came up with that. That is in my backstory from a young age, learning from because I was looking up, I sometimes get in like a nerdy cycle of I want to learn how they did this in medieval times, and what they would do if they wanted to keep breeding records of horses, was they would have a group who specifically know how to read and write. So usually they were the church or monks or something, because those were the people who could write, and they would write down the records of this horse was sold to this person and this one was sold to this person, so they don't have the same breed of horses going around. All of that to say, maybe they need wizards, the king's horses or something, need wizards to help them keep track of their horses or breed the best horses. I don't know how that would work.
No, I think that makes sense. I would know how to read and write.
Yeah.
And if you worked with horses,
a free wizard job as well.
Yeah, or a side gig while I was learning under the wizard too. I got and so I could have been the guy who was writing down the horse breedings and reading them. Yeah, no, I'm down for that. I think that works great. Did you help breed horses then?
Yeah, I wrote down that he worked for them. That's how he knows how to ride a horse. Because I was looking through this proficiencies you get, and how does this person get this? I'll put it in the backstory. I don't know. But yeah, horse rider, horse breeder stuff.
No, so in my mind I was thinking about being an older gnome who kind of the main life event was to be this wizard's apprentice, but he couldn't quite get it, and so that's why he set off on his own. But I wanted a bunch of odd jobs in between, so that's perfect.
Oh, perfect.
You've just been trying out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and then you finally gave up and left to just go do it. That's fine.
He hasn't quite been able to get. That's why he's old, but he's gonna be level 1. Like he's gonna have been around for a little while, but he couldn't quite get it.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, you guys would have known each other. I think what Nick in your backstory, is that like, would that be like? 10?
That would have been 10 years ago or more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, wait. I think it would have been around more than 10 years ago, which is nothing to a gnome, but a lot to a human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your gnome wizard would be like, oh, it's that guy. I vaguely remembered you from the monastery, and Nick's character would be like, what the heck? What are you doing here?
Why is this old man here?
You know, we get drinks together.
Why is this old man here?
Yeah, that's the kind of like rough familiarity that I'm trying to go for. So that's a very solid one. I'm now going to turn my attention to the obvious work being put in over here, the line which says divinity.
Original sin.
So yeah, that's a good start. It's always going to tie your characters together. But how do your characters know each other?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's the question.
Siblings?
No.
Distant cousins?
I mean, I do think, as I've been silently pondering, I do think I'm gonna go for the Asimar sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it is now just a question of how am I related to Kasper's character.
Could be a lot of Caspers in this party.
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna start as an artificer then. Now, knowing that there are 2 full casters, 1 half, I think I'm gonna start as an artificer. I don't know how. I might multi-class later. Yeah, I don't know how far. I'm just gonna feel it out, but I think I'm gonna start as an artificer.
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Just gonna play it by ear.
I made up a town name. There you go.
From
sending me links. Discord doesn't play whenever I'm streaming things.
No.
Oh no.
No.
It's in the Roll20 page.
I'm just putting down.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Let's see. We're both.
Do you think that the reason you know each other is because you're both Nephilim, or is that just a coincidence? Let's start there.
I don't.
You certainly could have bonded over both being Nephilim, but is it the reason you know each other in the first place?
Well, the fun thing about my character is that they look like a tiefling when you first meet him. So that would probably be kind of funny.
Mine is probably gonna have more of an elven look.
Nice.
Would have been funny if I went for the tiefling cleric though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could also be a thing where it's like we ended up in the same place at the same time and they're like, oh my god, there's 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have caused maybe a ruckus in a town where they're like, wait, you're not supposed to be here. Because I'm just trying to think, like, how do everyday, like, civilians, how do they feel about Nephilim?
So, like I told you...
It depends on the region.
It would depend on the spot a lot. So in Mayho, they are slightly more common, and they are slightly more tolerated because they are slightly more common, and also because there are spirits that are anywheres. But there is definitely still an overarching sentiment of that they will bring trouble to them. There's a prevailing belief that both angels and demons alike, regardless, whenever one shows up, the other will follow, and then they will get in a fight, and that fight is going to cause collateral damage for everybody. So the Nephilim often share some of that prejudice in that people think that disaster follows them. They bring the celestial conflict with them wherever they go. But there would be more individuals who are welcoming in Mayho than other regions at the very least.
Okay, let's see. Maybe, since, like, I'm trying to do, like, the folk hero thing where I kind of wander around and just help people, what if I went somewhere and there was, like, trouble, and you came and, like, helped me out?
My character could have also been the cause of the trouble.
If you
Like
want to be the cause.
she showed up, trouble happened, and then you helped fix it.
Yeah, you could have
Yeah.
bailed them out potentially. Okay.
Yeah.
I could be your little hero. That could work.
You could have a relationship sort of like where you could have like the trouble, like the fixer. Like if Riley's character is like maybe causing trouble, then Casper's character is the one who's fixing it.
Yeah.
I think
Or-
she's
or-
more just extremely unlucky.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
other one. The
Wrong
other one
place,
where
wrong
it's
time.
less like causing trouble, but more so when there is trouble being caused, Casper's character is the one who fixes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That works.
The protector situation.
like trouble just seems to follow you, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
So you think you would be maybe have traveled and maybe even come to Curry together then?
Well, somebody's got to keep her on a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
That's another good question. Which one of you is following the other one?
Let's
Oh,
see.
man.
So, my character is gonna be part of the Far Wardens, which is a paladin group that kind of goes against the spirits and like Nephilim in a way. And the reason like I feel like he would have joined is because they originally thought he was gonna be a cause of trouble, but he pled his case and was like, "Hey, I want to help the trouble." And maybe perhaps because they're meant to like help out these issues, they sent me to deal with you. And now I'm just kind of like stuck with you. I'm like, okay, I have to keep this person in line.
Yeah.
So are you sort of stuck following Riley's character around then, wherever Riley ends up going, just to sort of like keep your, status with your guild, but without doing anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Mr. DM, I did see in the Spire of Knowledge, one of the things that they tried to understand is the divine.
Yes.
Do you think it would make sense for my character to have been at the Spire of Knowledge, trying to understand themselves better and like all of that? I don't know how to
put that. I
word
don't
it.
remember if I put this in there, but the Spire of Knowledge, how they take students is through entrance exams. So they actually they'll go whenever they want. Whenever a master's like, I would like students to help me research so and so. They have proctors go from village to village, or actually no, it's not from village to village. They'll send messengers to villages, being like, we will hold an exam on this day, as the masters are applying for these masters are applying for new students, and they'll be like, the Master of Spirits, the Master of the Divine, the Master of the Trebuchet, whatever there happens to be. And you go there and you take the examinations, and then the Masters pick whoever they want from that list. So, yeah, you could have been perhaps even a student, whether accepted or not. You could have at least applied for the Spire or the Tower of Knowledge, the Spire. I can't remember my own names. I can't get my own names straight. Yeah, and you could have gone there, and maybe they even perhaps might have researched you as your perhaps unique divine soul. Perhaps they thought if they looked at it, they could get some reverse engineered insight into how the divine can wield their power.
And maybe they could have used Casper's character as a way to like keep an eye on me or something.
Maybe not even the Spire of Knowledge in that point so much, but maybe more so like the far wardens, like heard like there's like a unique Nephilim who has like a soul which can directly tap into like divine sorts of magic, and they're like, we don't trust that. That's super sus. Please make this. And they're like, maybe they're even like, you need to like get rid of this thing. It's basically an angel as its current state or a devil, and you're like, I'll just keep an eye on it. Don't kill. Maybe.
Yeah, my character would not be into just killing whatever.
Yeah, as a suggestion.
I do like the idea that you were originally hired to kill me.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that could bring about some really fun stuff later on that we regret.
So, if that's what you're going with, then the new question for me becomes, are you like Are you like, what are your terms with each other? Like, are you on good terms with each other? Are you on like bad terms? Like, are you resentful? You have to follow this random Nephilim around for potentially ever to keep them from being killed?
My character would not be resentful of that. As someone who was like very prejudiced against for being a Nephilim, he would appreciate having other Nephilim around. So I almost feel like, I don't know how old your character is, but it could be almost
younger
like
than you, but not by too much.
Yeah, like almost like a younger sibling vibe.
Yeah.
Where like he just kind of wants to protect you from others and maybe even yourself.
Yeah.
So then Riley, how I was good. You're probably about to say it, but I was going to ask, how do you feel about the random guy showing up and going like, I am going to basically follow you around now, because people think you're dangerous.
I think my character is going to have a big self-resentment problem because like they distrust themselves, but probably looks up to Kasper's character in the sense that like this one has their shit together. Maybe I can do that too.
Like a source of inspiration. Okay.
But then also a source of inspiration, but also feels guilty to be a bother for them. Like, I'm sorry you have to do this, but also thank you.
The low self-esteem vibes. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really
Somebody's
good
gotta have it.
foundation there. Okay. All right. I like that one. Keep thinking about that, but I want to put a pin in it for now just so we can get some more connections done. So we've got those two bonds seem like really good connections already between some of these characters. As we've talked, has anyone else had any more ideas for for another bond?
I have a question.
Yes.
I am reading into like the elves, the eldest, the wood elves, the high elves type thing. What is the general opinion on half elves?
Half elves, that's going to be very regional. So a lot of elves and older lived races especially still have a lot of resentment over an event called the Blood Wars, which happened a long time ago. It happened before another event called the Wave of Frost, which is basically like a 200-year-long ice age where frost giants try to kill everybody. Before that, there was the Age of Blood, where for reasons which have been lost to time, as many of the things in that period were basically all of the races of the world were all really angry at each other and trying to kill each other constantly. The longer lived races like dwarves and elves have held grudges a little longer than the other races have. So there would, a lot of them, especially when you get closer to their ancestral homelands in Canis, would not be super duper keen on the idea of half elves. In Mayho, though, Mayho has a little bit of a different background to it. So there are also native elves on Mayho. They have a much more natural sort of connection to the world around them than the other elves do. They're a lot more about keeping the harmony, which gives them a very different reason to not be keen on outsiders. But as opposed to the other elves, the elves of Mayho, if a half elf did show up, the elvish portion of them would be inclined to keep that elf and sort of fold them into elvish society as one of themselves, rather than let them go to the humans. They tend to view a lot of the humans in the Celestial Empire as sort of trampling on the bounds between the spirits of Mayho and themselves. On the human end, they wouldn't really care in Mayho. They would just be like, oh, it's just so you've got elf blood in you. That's neat, not super common, but they would not have as much of a strong opinion as the elves themselves. If that makes sense, I'm not just rambling.
No, you're good. So that makes me think of, especially with his occupation, that he's kind of a loner, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was also deep diving into the chestnuts. I was like,
yes,
the chestnuts.
Did I make a wiki page for Kuri? I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm making him like he has a calling, but he's kind of like in between where he's supposed to be and what he's meant to do. Like him being one of the like romantics or a breezer type thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't really know how he would fit into anybody's relationship with anybody because he is a native, but he lives there. And the basics of he takes your dead, he buries them. You got dead people, he'll take care of it.
Yeah, so not every backstory needs to be like super grand with each other here. In fact, I want to encourage a lot of them not to be. I want things to be simple for some things. Like, I know this person because we both like go to the same bar and drink at the same time. Or like, I know this person because when I was out of money, they let me crash in like their barn for like a week. Like, even little things like that, right? So, I mean, yours could be as simple as like, I know this person because I went with them to bury like their mother or something like that. Even something as simple as that.
Yeah.
But that does sort of tie into something else I want people to think about. If you're not a native of Kuri, I want to know why your character is in Kuri and why they have been there, and especially why they care about Kuri enough to risk their life going after werewolves, very dangerous werewolves. So that is something that you should definitely be in consideration of if you are not a native. I know for some people that answer is going to come easier than others, but I think that's very important for the start of how this module is going to go.
I feel like for my character, he would have visited the festival that they have, like yearly. Yeah.
Yes, the chest.
I feel like he would have visited those like while he was like traveling around. And so he would just have like a fond memory of the place. And like, I don't know what time of year you're doing this, but maybe we're like showing up around that time of the festival, so I was already heading that way.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't decided on a specific starting time or date yet, for sure. I think that would be a good time of the year to start at around, though. Maybe, if not even the festival time itself, maybe like a week or two before it. And the werewolf attacks have sort of put the town in a panic, right? As they're supposed to be like going in the woods and harvesting chestnuts. They can't because there might be werewolves out there.
Yeah, and like in that way, I could have a connection with Kaza's character where I tend to just like show up and kind of do like the whole like, hey, can I crash here thing to them every time I come to the festival.
Or even like maybe Kaza, maybe like you do like a stall of some sort at the festival or something for it, and maybe Kasper's character is a regular patron despite not being a native, and that's made them sort of stick out to you.
Because I want to go deep, not deep really, but into the spirit effigy like carving. That I want to like maybe now I want to put like chestnuts on his armor or something like that. That he has like a connection to them.
Yeah.
With they're everywhere, and he's obviously a grave cleric, so spirit communion. He works with the dead type thing. So maybe he makes the effigies. Maybe he makes effigies for other people. As a token of I buried your mother. Here, sorry about it. Here you go.
I feel that's very in character for both the town and what I know of your character so far. That could be something like that. So like maybe you've made some of those, and maybe Kasper's character just comes and picks some up every year at festival time.
Yeah, that would work, because I feel like I would use them in my line of work. So that could work.
That could be a simple enough line. You should feel free to elaborate on that as much or as little as you want from that point, but you can make a line between those characters if you like.
I think that would help draw a line between our characters too, because I also like the chestnut thing and added that into my little backstory write-up I was working on. And part of that is that there's these two kids that he's kind of looking after every once in a while when he's not doing like town guard stuff, and they really like collecting the chestnuts, so they could bring it to your character, and like these two kids are like, this person knows how to make the chestnut stuff. We really like that.
Oh my god, I'm the nut guy.
The nut guy.
Oh boy.
I love my nut.
Ladies love my nuts.
I actually like this idea that some of you have done, where you're putting the like some character like info and themes under your thing, so people can check it. I feel like that'll make it a lot easier for other people to like make connections to your characters, and they can sort of look at those things and see what your character's about at a glance.
Yeah, it's
a good idea.
Fun. I'm also pretty visual, so if I see
So
it all,
having it
I
all
can
written out is going to be good for
that.
some people as well. Yeah, okay.
I've just been furiously writing in my notebook.
Same.
I'm gonna be an
got
avid note taker. Take that as
I've
a warning.
I've got color coded. Everybody's got a color coded marker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write this down somewhere eventually, but
So, Kasper and Kaza, for your line, what do you think is the product being sold, and why, Kasper, do you think you're buying that versus other people's stuff? What stands out about it, and what stands out about Kaza's character to you? You don't have to answer it right away. It's something you can think about if you like.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
I know these are high brain power questions I'm throwing around. You have to make stuff up out of nowhere, so.
John, I think if you're tinkering and making toys, that would also be a really good connection.
I want that to be my hobby. That's why I want to do like the rock gnome and the artificer. I feel like being a toy maker would be super fun.
That's really fun.
I'm gonna add an extra line to. I'm gonna add an extra node to this pentagon. I'm gonna be the town itself in the middle, just that we remember to have a tie to the town. Yeah.
That's a person too.
Because I definitely think I was thinking about what you said about the tower, Peter. I think I'm trying to do some of this on my own. Like I think I've tried working under a wizard before, and I really liked him, but it didn't quite work out. And so I think I need a job in the town to also get money.
Okay. Yeah, so you could have any number of odd jobs around Kuri. It's a very small town, but it doesn't mean that there aren't things that needs done, right? Like your job, I noticed you say you likes making toys. You could just be like a wood carver who like carves little toys for the kids in town, and that could like be your job, right?
Okay, yeah, I'll be a toy maker. I feel like that'd be cool. I feel like I could use some of my knowledge, maybe to help with some like alchemical solutions or something.
For sure, you could do several things.
Simple things.
A simple alchemist, or even just like a herbalist for the town, something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything too crazy.
So then I'm gonna keep focusing on you for a little bit, John. So
okay.
So we know that you were in Canis for a while. We know that you were doing odd jobs for potentially hundreds of years and never really found anything you were like good at or that like spoke to you. So then you went to Mayho to what? Why did you go to Mayho from Canis? What made you move continents? And it's not an easy move either. This isn't like you buy a ticket, you go on a boat, you get over there. It's like a month-long boat trip, and there's little certainty that you will actually make it there in one piece. Intercontinental travel is very dangerous because the waters themselves are very tumultuous, and they're also inhabited by hostile, destruction-worshipping ocean people as well as sea monsters. So what?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes, I maybe should have mentioned that sooner. But regardless.
No, it's. I think it's the drive to figure out magic, which I have to determine. Maybe it was like my grandfather or something was a wizard, and so I feel like I can do it. And Curie seems like the place because that's where the magical spirits are, and I'm trying to, I want to unlock my potential. This is kind of my last chance.
So you think that maybe if you go to Curie, which is sort of on the fringes, where there are more spirits in the more civilized regions, that you might be able to sort of get an aha moment from them.
Yeah. Or at least figure out something that no one else has figured out before and leave my mark in the magical world.
Then my question becomes, what is your relationship with the Tower of Knowledge? Were you maybe a rejected applicant, or did you get accepted? And then if you did get accepted, are you still like working under them, or did you maybe quit because even that wasn't working out? Or something else?
Ooh. That's a good question. What does it take to get accepted, and how difficult is that?
So I'll go over the application process one more time. So whenever
I remember that you take like a test.
Yeah, so whenever a master of the Spire of Knowledge like wants is like either appointed or just needs more like students or understudies, they let the spire know that they would like more, and they like draft a test. And the test is basically whatever they want. It could be like a literal written test, which it most commonly is, or it could be an actual like aptitude test. And then they'll have proctors go from town to town and let the towns know there on this date at this time there will be admissions at the Spire of Knowledge for these masters. Like it'll be like the master of books wants like more archivists. The master of magic would like more magical apprentices. The master of spirits would like more researchers. So on and so forth. Blah 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 blah. So then, if you want to do that, you have to go to the Spire of Knowledge and you pay a gold fee to take the test. So you have to like pay like, and it's not insignificant sum of gold. If you're taking the test, it's probably like anywhere from 10 to 50 gold, which is a significant chunk of money to like apply in the first place. It's very prestigious, and also that's like how they get their funding is through applications and through excess donations from the Ring of Gold. So you take the test, and then side note is that whenever you do take a test, you don't just get to pick which test you want to take. You take all of the tests that they're currently recruiting for. So like you might end up taking some tests that you're not good at, but regardless of that, all of those results are put on like one slate, and the masters they just grab slates. Like they just go, this guy's results look good for my thing, and they take it. So sometimes they end up fighting over students. So yeah, you take a test, and then you are handpicked as a, if they like your answers or whatever, then you might get chosen. I sort of based that a little bit on Chinese imperial exams for licensing.
That's what I was thinking you did.
Yes. It is no coincidence. I told you that it was very Eastern inspired in parts, so.
Well, because it probably costs a lot of money to get across the ocean too,
yes,
right?
I'm sure it would, yeah.
I almost think I'm trying to save up enough money to take the test.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah.
That's what I want to do. And so I'm trying to prepare in the meantime, because the spirits are where I feel like the magic is at. And so I'm learning about them to do a good job on that test. That's the one that I'm gonna try to ace.
And there would be,
but that I need more money.
Larger fields of study, such as broader things like magic and things, would have multiple masters, and so there would therefore be tests more often. So yeah, you could have gone through a few testing periods and been like, I just need a little more money. I just need a little more money to take this test. And so even perhaps the reward the town offered could be enough gold for you to take that test. And so that could be why you're willing to take on this risk, is because that money is going to potentially let you achieve your dream.
Are they offering money?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that the town is offering probably 50 gold pieces to each of you, which is insultingly low to deal with werewolves, but it's all the money that they can scrape. That's like all of the salary of like the Emperor's Arm for like the next month put together, plus whatever the town's I forget the name of the leader, but like whatever they could spare as well. So like,
no, I like that a lot, because I hadn't figured out the werewolf part exactly yet, and I think my character is going to be a little timid, but that would definitely be a reason that he would do that.
Bam, session 0's working out. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right,
keep deliberating on that. Nick, you already sent me a bunch of stuff. I think you're fairly set here.
Yeah, I did do that.
So I'm going to go back to you, Riley. My newest player. Yes. So we have established for you so far, you're this divine soul sorcerer. You're thinking that maybe you have a connection to the Spire of Knowledge, and that they wanted to basically research you and your unique font of magic, which lets you directly call upon divine power, particularly power which seems to be drawn from Savis, and I can't remember my things. The font of mysticism, which strongly resembles the font of mysticism. So this would be actually a very good point, is that because you're a divine soul sorcerer, you would be capable of recreating magic that resembles both the magic of mysticism and the magic of Idism, which would be considered a pretty big deal among scholars, because most people can only do one. Occultism can replicate many different fields, but replicating multiple at once would be quite the anomaly. So I definitely think masters would be willing to basically pay you to let them like poke you with needles and like see what makes you tick. which would ultimately probably be fruitless. So then the question is like, is that like what? So at that point, if that's what you want to go with, what is your relationship with the Spire of Knowledge? Like, were you happy being basically experimented on? Were you sad? Were you for it? Were you against that experimentation? Were you willing? And then what ended up? What is the reason that your tenureship, we'll call it, with them ended? Do you have any ideas for that?
I think she feels like she needs to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something she necessarily likes to do or wants to do, but she feels like it's the only way for her to actually understand herself. And it's a way for her to feel useful without making a mess of things.
Okay, that makes sense. So that sort of tells me that by the time that you were at the Spire of Knowledge, you already sort of had this almost resentment for yourself as a character, where you view yourself as a problem. So now I want to ask, where did that come from? Was that just your environment, or you were sort of taught that by your peers, or was there maybe an event that made you feel that way, or sort of a combination, or maybe something else entirely?
Probably a little bit of both. Simply like, probably the idea that, oh, this is a Nephilim child that definitely doesn't have like a grasp of how to control themselves in any sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
And there was probably a large event in which she inadvertently caused some mass destruction due to being Nephilim, and she feels a lot of guilt over it.
Yes, the power...
And because people blamed her for it.
Yes, although perhaps it is unreasonable to ask of somebody to control such power with no training, nevertheless, you were perhaps blamed for such a thing and carry some guilt over what happened, whatever that might be. That sort of detail level stuff is something that you can come up with your own and just send to me at some point if you want to go that far into it. But regardless, running with the concept of very, 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 very sorcerer stuff. The sorcerer's power was misunderstood, was feared, and it went wrong, and that makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
how young are you?
Probably early 20s, really reflecting how just like lost you feel once you've reached that stage of adulthood. I love really getting into those inner themes. It's the English major in me.
At this point, you're literally going to be somebody who's fresh out of college with no idea what to do with themselves. So you're really hitting the nail on the head.
Exactly what I am. I'm just doing exactly that.
I am.
I am making me.
All right, so
It's like the tiefling bard.
So then do you think that this event is also perhaps what drew the attention of the Spire of Knowledge, which led them to recruit you?
Probably.
Recruit as well.
Whether it be recruiting or she's like, I gotta get over there somehow, just to like see if they can
maybe help
put a
you
grasp
even learn
on
to
this at all.
put a cap on yourself. Okay. So maybe a little bit of column A where they knew of it, maybe a little bit of column B where you were seeking them out.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then I'll go back to for my other question, which is what led to the end of your time at the Spire of Knowledge? Perhaps it was the arrival of Kasper's character.
That's what I'm thinking. Probably something to do with Kasper's arrival and being part of the Far Wardens.
Yeah, so Kasper, do you have any input on that, since we're sort of going back into that connection now?
Let's see. Is there like an event that makes you leave the Spire, or
I'm not sure.
Like, are you trying to run away from it, or
maybe she's looking for other alternatives?
Maybe over the years it's become clear that you're not really getting anything out of it, and they've just sort of been using you and also not even making any progress or headway themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then maybe you run away and the Far Wardens get, I guess, essentially hired.
Yeah, because they're like, hey, this really like
Maybe, yeah, the
pig
Spire of
Nephilim
Knowledge
thing is like on
potentially
the loose.
unhappy that you left could have maybe tipped off the Far Wardens, knowing their reputation, that you had gone off on your own and that you might pose a problem, and then that could lead into the introduction of Kasper's character. Who's like, maybe they're not a problem. Let me try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just see if they're a problem. Are you a
Yeah.
problem?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back into that tie a little bit while we're here. So how
It's like rescuing a
long-
misunderstood dog.
Yeah, so how long do you think your characters would have known each other? Maybe not too long by that point, given how young Riley's character is.
Yeah.
I'd say like a few months, like maybe 6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say a couple months, maybe 6 or 7 months, where
Okay.
I've just been kind of traveling with you, and
Yeah.
So,
maybe because you were like, I guess, sheltered in the Spire for so long, I like am showing you the continent.
Yeah.
And having you help me with like some jobs here and there.
Yeah.
How far is the Spire from Curry, Peter?
great question. So Curry is kind of on the. I don't have a like perfectly to scale map of the region yet because
That's
I don't want
okay.
to fuss it out that much. It would be
Yeah, no,
a bit of a trip though, because Curry it's not like on the very edge of the continent, but it's like on the border of the edge of the continent. So probably a week, I think, feels about right. A week's travel on horse or foot or something, not accounting for any crazy means of transportation. Far enough away that it's a big deal to go there, but not so far away that you can't go there.
Because I was thinking, if it was only not that long ago that you left the Spire, maybe I visited once when I was exploring and like realized I didn't have enough money or whatever, and maybe I met Riley while I was there briefly.
Yeah, well, that could work for sure. Yeah. So you have a prospective and a hopeful for the Spire, who's maybe about to have their dreams dashed a little bit. And one of the local tenants, not a student, but somebody who sort of just resides there to be poked at. How do you think your characters might have known each other, and what they might have, what their interactions might have been like in that brief window?
She may have inadvertently helped with the really just crushing his hopes of this place being something useful for him.
You think maybe all of the like students and mathers were like, oh, that's great. Yeah, you should definitely apply. We've come in. Your character's like, I've seen so many people come here and be denied. Don't even bother.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I like that too.
Oh,
I like that too.
I think we just gold. You probably even have that much money.
Maybe I like saw you coming out of the Spire and I was like, wait, you go in there? And we just had a conversation.
You can just walk in if you want to.
You'd certainly cut striking enough figures for each other to remember. The gnome seeing the Nephilim, a very uncommon species in general, and the Nephilim seeing a gnome, which are also not super common there. Yeah, dashed his hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
A foreign gnome too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gnomes
I was probably dressed
gnome,
funny.
Yeah. So the gnomes of the gnomes of Mayho would be more of like the forest gnomes. I don't remember what they're called in 5th edition, but the more like nature affiliated gnomes. Versus
they're
the rock gnomes.
Forest gnomes.
They are? Okay, I got it right then. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure,
fairer, fairer, tanner, yellower skin versus the more rugged and hardy and wrinkly rock gnomes. So, yeah, definitely would have cut a figure for both of you for sure. That's a really good little surface level connection, enough for you to kind of like, oh yeah, I know you, huh? But not have too much more than that. I like that as a thing going into this. So that's really good. Okay, nice. I like that. All right, that's a good plug. I'm gonna go back to the line between Riley and Kasper again. So you said 6 months you knew each other. What have you been doing for those 6 months?
That was quick.
Man, odd jobs here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Just just whatever, really. My character is inherently just like a very good person. So I feel like if he heard that there was any trouble happening, he would go help them, and he would drag Riley's character with him.
Mm-hmm. So Riley, I can imagine how Kasper's character does during the folk hero stuff, sort of in their veins.
Yeah.
But you, that's maybe newer to you. How do you think you do with that sort of situation?
She's definitely a bumbling sidekick, but also she does like being there because she does like the idea of being helpful.
Okay. All right, trying your best. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It makes her think maybe there is something inherently good about her, you know?
Yeah. You can see the actions of Kasper's character and feel like maybe one day you could live up to that in a way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even when people look at Kasper, they aren't disgusted. Maybe that could be you sometime.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then you two would be in town recently, presumably because Kasper's character wanted to show you the festival, and now the town is in trouble. So Kasper's going to help out the town because that's what Kasper's character does, and you're going to help out the character. You're going to help out Kasper's character because helping out Kasper's character is what your character does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like you two are pretty nice and settled, at least as far as your own relationship into the town. I want to go back to the line between Kasper and Kaza now. So customer, right? So
Yeah.
that'd be part of your character is that you've got these this stall or something of the sort at the festival where you sell these things. So what do you sell, and why did you start selling them?
Sorry, my mic was
Like, you're
muted.
good.
I guess it would be more of a commission-based service of the spirit effigies and carving them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if it's around festival time, maybe Casper's character would come in and be like, "Hey, we're here for the festival," and I'm like, "Bad news, guys! No festival. There's werewolves."
There's werewolves. We got
And
werewolves.
then I cry.
No festival.
Yeah. No festival. Can't go get my nuts. I can't get my
Okay.
nuts. I'm so sorry.
Damn it.
And how long
I like that guy's
do you
nuts.
think you two have been in very light business with each other, so to put it?
My character is a half elf, so he's not the hundreds of years as a normal elf lifespan. So I'm assuming he's maybe around like 50 or 60. So he's still considered a young, elf.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still got that human quality to it. So he's definitely been around for a while. He's definitely been doing this for quite a while in terms of both the gravekeeping and the spirit effigy. I believe the creating of I guess the commission work is what I should call it.
Mm-hmm.
Is probably a newer thing for him, newish as in maybe last 10, 15 years. As sort of like a side gig.
Uh-huh.
Because they were like, "Hey, it's probably something." Someone came up to him and was like, "You're pretty good at this. You should, offer your services to people. Maybe it'll help them," type thing.
Yeah.
And he was too good of a guy to say no.
That makes sense. Right. So what do you two, both of you, think it was like when you both sort of first met each other and made this sort of interaction with each other? Like what was so like striking about it per se that made Kasper, your character, want to keep coming back every year to purchase more of these effigies?
So, my character actually is proficient in like woodcarver's tools, and I feel like the effigies that your character creates just have like more energy and like more like spiritism to them than he can really obtain himself. So he's just intrigued by the fact that all of your carvings seem to innately have something to them that he cannot replicate. Like, it doesn't actually have to be like anything important. but
Mm-hmm.
he just feels like almost like what you're carving is closer to the spirits.
Okay,
Yep.
so your character almost like in Kaza's character almost sees like a strange connection to the sort of the power of Mayho, as we might call it in shorthand. Um, if that makes sense and sounds correct.
Yeah, like maybe your character
Mhm.
doesn't like it's like a hobby for him, but my character is like these are special. Like he's like that weirdo who like really
Mhm.
wants you to like he shows up every year and he really wants you to make it like less of a hobby and more of like an actual like practice.
Mhm.
You know? You know, like you get those people that are like, oh my god, what you make is amazing. You need to expand upon this. You need to
Uh-huh.
like I want him to be one of those people.
I'm that's good. That's good stuff. I'm trying to get the sort of vibe of the relationship between the two characters, and that's a good demonstration of your side of it. So going to the other
Yeah.
hand, Kaza, how does your character feel about this one of many perhaps customers and travelers who comes through every year?
I definitely think he would take notice. Because, I mean, you said what, Curry has like, what, 50 to 100 people, correct?
Yeah, it's a very small town, and there certainly wouldn't be any other Nephilims in it, so.
No, I feel like that's definitely someone that would stand out.
Yes.
And just the enthusiasm that of which Kasper's character talks to mine would be like, okay, no, this guy's showing up.
I like talk your ear off for like half an hour to an hour sometimes when I show up to the festival.
He's silent the whole time.
Extrovert introvert dynamic, yes.
And you're like, oh my god, this is so cool, and he's like, these are just, they're nuts.
They're really cool nuts.
Okay, I'll keep walking around the circle. So now I'll go to the link between Nick and Kaz's character, which currently just says Nut Guy.
Yeah, it's the nut guy.
If you care to elaborate.
The
No.
nut guy.
I refuse to elaborate.
Mhm.
Yeah, my idea is that I have 2 kids that I bring around to places. They're definitely not my kids, but they're kids I'm looking after. And they really like collecting the chestnuts and going to the festival and all that, but I'm usually like armored up in uniform walking around letting these kids kind of interact with things but trying to not get too involved. So I guess they would probably be interested in the guy who's really good at carving these effigies, right? And doing the chestnut stuff.
So maybe even the relationship in that case is less that you're familiar with each other directly, but more so through that each of you are familiar with the kids and therefore you tangentially know each other through them, right?
Yeah.
Something
I do have a
like
question.
that. Yes.
Towards the children, bringing the gravekeeper aspect of it. Maybe they have deceased family that they're bringing those as an offering to
Oh
the
yeah.
guy who buried him, type thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like they have like this thing where they honor their like ancestors in their family. And yeah, that's what they make these for. And then they would probably talk to your character about that, so you would know their family lore maybe more than my character would.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, I like that connection through the shared the shared relationship with the children there. The spiritual connection.
What do you think
causes character?
Yeah, what do you think the kids would call your character if they talked about him?
What's the nut guy?
Yeah,
the
probably
nut
the
guy.
nut guy.
Nut
Okay, I
guy.
guess they call him the nut guy.
It's a nut guy.
He's spirit dude, gravekeeper, the guy who hangs out in the cemetery and
The graveyard dude.
It could be something like the Quiet Man or something simple like that.
Yeah.
yeah, because he's very quiet. He doesn't talk a lot, in terms of his talking about the commission work of, I'm assuming he's not going to be a guy that's going to be like, hear ye, come get my nuts type thing, you know? He's going to stand there and wait for people to walk up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's hiding in the corner. He's sitting in the cemetery. He lives in the cemetery. He whittles his little chestnuts, and he doesn't talk to anybody. But for some reason, people keep talking to him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You just have a welcoming face.
He's a great listener.
So you're a half elf, okay. Alright, I'm doing a quick check for something pseudo unrelated to the connection stuff for a minute. So Kaza, I'm gonna talk to you for a second. You're a half elf. What do you have noted about your parentage so far?
So estranged from the elf side.
Mm-hmm.
Family side. Human side is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Estranged from the elf side because they were like, ew.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. Even though they had, they had a relationship with a human. So that the wood elf thing of, I'm assuming that they left back into the forest, they left somewhere else. I haven't quite gone into that in my own head yet.
Okay.
But he's just there. He's just sort of a guy. I'm assuming he just kind of settled wherever he was welcomed, where his talents were needed.
Okay. I have something I'm going to send you later about your parentage that we can talk about if you're interested. That could give you some ties to the module. We'll see if you're interested or not. That could potentially be interesting, but we'll do that later. I don't want to talk about that out loud because we entered the module territory there, and I think it'd be fun to keep that from the other players. Yes. Right. So
I have an idea.
Yes.
For the two Nephilim characters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there would be any situation in town where you guys would have, because you're not from this town, right? Are there any situations where you guys might have trouble with, like, maybe not the law, but like the people in general, that a town guard might have to settle a dispute or something?
I will say, the Far Wardens have a bit of controversy surrounding them.
Okay.
And having two Nephilim, like, when one of them being in the Far Wardens probably isn't something they'd be particularly fond of.
Yeah. So I don't really know what we would do, but I do know that there was a controversy with the Far Wardens where they attempted to attack spirits in Maho.
Oh, so like maybe people in town think that the Far Wardens are like spirit killers or whatever?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they're very well regulated now under the what are they called? I forgot the name of the thing.
I was sending a secret message. I might be able to answer now that I'm listening again.
Oh, what's the place that's looking over the Far Wardens and is like, hey, stop attacking
the Celestial
spirits?
Empire. Yeah, so I put
Celestial,
down that, yes, the Celestial Empire. So the Far Wardens, like, eventually when they came to Mayho, they were like, these spirits are works of the gods and they need removed. And they, like, attacked some. And the Celestial Empire was like, no, we live in balance with them. Stop that. And so now the Celestial Empire, which is the de facto power in Mayho, is like keeping an eye on the Far Wardens to make sure that they do not mess with the balance between man and spirit again. Permitting their presence, but monitoring them. Yes.
Yeah. So
the Far
that
Wardens
kind of exists,
are a little
I
bit
guess.
of a fringe group.
Nice.
I have a question.
Yes.
So is that, like, well known that they did that? I'm assuming that is correct.
I don't think it would be a secret, right? But, like, I don't think it would be, like, a prominent event either. Like, it wouldn't be like, oh, did you hear? The Far Wardens, like, attacked some spirits. It would be like when people with Far Wardens, they'd be like, oh, those are those guys, like, who had, like, that trouble with the spirits that one time, right? Like, so not like a big deal, like well known, but like things, it would be something that people know. Like you think of the Forwardens, you think those are the guys who like sometimes they cause trouble because they're so like devoted to their cause.
Would that potentially put a rift in but someone who takes care of spirits versus someone who is part of that organization?
It potentially could. So yeah, the Far Wardens have occasionally are known to have problems with people who take their beliefs a little too far, which has given them a bit of a rotten reputation in parts, much like the business with the spirits in Mayho. So potentially, the name Far Wardens could give certain people a bit of a hesitant pause when they heard the name.
Like, that could be a potential reason for my characters not wanting to talk to Kasper's character.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the introvert-extrovert thing, but he's also like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Aware of that fact and keeping your distance because of it.
Yeah, I will say my character doesn't just walk around saying he's part of the Far Wardens, but he's also not really secretive about it either.
Yeah.
He's
Rumors spread quickly in a small town.
Yeah. So it's likely that you heard that my character, the guy who comes every year for the festival, works for the Far Wardens. Kind of thing. So yeah, that could definitely work.
Mm-hmm.
I think something that could be fun is if there were a couple townsfolk who are a little rowdy and maybe trying to pick a fight with you, and then I could have helped break that up once, and so that's how you would know my character.
Can I do this?
My character wouldn't fight civilians.
Yeah, the civilians would be like trying to get you to fight them, and I could like talk them down because they know me a little bit more, and I have a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
That could work, yeah. You can make that line if you want. I'm also gonna try something out. This might be gigantic.
Nick, you know there's a line tool, right?
Be careful. This might
I
be
like
gigantic.
drawing
Okay.
them.
Okay.
My picture.
Speaking of drawing, there he is. I put him there. He's a little
This might
small.
be a little too complicated, but also you could have. Well, I don't know, because as a town guard, I'm like technically not in the Celestial Empire, so I don't know if there would be any issues of like you thinking that the Celestial Empire is like monitoring you. That sounds a little too complicated. Probably not.
My character would not particularly care.
Yeah.
To be fair, he very much like because he's from Maho, he understands like the whole spirit thing a lot better than because the original Far Wardens are from Canis, so and they're and it was created by humans, so he doesn't really believe in the whole spirits are dangerous aspect, but the fact that he is a part of them can, you know, have some problems with others. Like almost like maybe I'm betraying Maho by being a part of the Far Wardens.
Yeah. And you're also like maybe inherently more connected to spirits, which is kind of like a interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. My whole character is trying to go against normal things.
Just thought I would put those in there since we have them. There we go.
Like I'm an Azamar that looks like a tiefling. Like that's kind of fucking weird, you know?
pretty weird guy.
What's that? That's the page. Get rid of that.
Oh, what kind of Azamar did you choose, Riley?
Oh man.
I chose the Scourge one where my eyes glow.
Yeah. Right now. Oh yeah, like I really like Azamar. I have another Azamar that's like a fallen one.
Nice. I also played a fallen one before. They're so cool.
Oh yeah, you've already done an Asmar Paladin, haven't you?
I have, but the game didn't last long enough, so I
Mine is a Paladin too.
2 sessions.
Oops.
It's a good look to have the wings and the armor and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's just so good to have. I mean, Scourge probably fits the best for her. In terms of like the description. You know, like imbued with a divine energy that blazes intensely within them. I haven't quite picked one in particular though.
Nice. Yeah, I chose that one because mine isn't gonna have wings.
Yeah.
So I just wanted like light to pour out of my eyes and mouth.
I'm pretty sure that Divine Soul Sorcerer like gets like incorporeal wings at some point.
That's cool.
Pretty sure that's true. Yeah.
They get some bonkers stuff at some point.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty solid on some of these connections here. I want to ask, do any of you have any more ideas at this moment about connections? Because you can always come up with some more later. But this is already a pretty good amount. Everybody has a decent amount right now. We don't need any more. Okay, that seems like a no.
Can't think of any.
I think that seems pretty good.
So then, these connections are pretty good. We've established the characters, each of these characters' rough backgrounds. I know.
Oh, what level are we starting at?
Level 1. Level 1.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter, I'll have to write you something now that some stuff's come
that
together.
the framework is here, and we know where the plugs are. You can work on that. But I do want to turn.
Yeah.
Now I want to turn to the questions I had put together, right?
And the pinned ones.
Yeah. So I have these 5 questions, right? I think we've all answered number 1, right? Kaza's a local.
Yeah.
Kasper's here for the festival. Riley's here because Kasper's here. Nick lives here now, and John also lives here now. I have question number 2, which I wrote there as, what does your character need to return to? Do you have family members who are reliant on you? Is there something you're working on that'll never be complete without you? Do you have a task with a time limit must be finished? Why does your character need to survive and make it back? I'm basically looking for motivations for your character to go on. Things that if your character did die would make it tragic. Unfinished business. Things that will be unresolved because they didn't make it. I have some answers to questions already. Nick and Kasper sent me some individually. I noticed that. But for the other 3 of you, and you don't have to you don't have to say this in voice chat if you like to sort of hold your cards close to your chest, which I fully encourage for this if you're into that. But have any thoughts on that much, the other 3 of you? And the other 2, you can talk about those 2 if you want to, maybe help them get some inspiration. Up to you.
Well, I don't know.
What do you think of that, Peter?
That could potentially be a good one, yes. Some unfinished business there, for sure. Something to look forward to. That would be pretty good. I like that one. Yep, that's pretty good. Something to strive for. Riley and John, either you 2 have any ideas?
I think I'll flesh it out more when I write something, but
yeah, of course.
Part of my initial feeling is just that my gnome feels like he hasn't achieved his potential yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this need to prove himself.
Yeah, you've
basically.
had all these
It's
years
very
of life,
personal
you haven't,
drive.
Like, done something yet, right? You haven't made your capstone your mark. You want to achieve something before you go, and you currently haven't done it yet. So that's
for him is a very personal drive.
Yes.
But I'll flesh that out a bit more because I want to have some family around some things, but I'll put that in a document for you once I think about it a bit more.
You need to survive because you haven't made your mark yet. If you were to fall now,
I haven't had my big break, my discovery.
That's right. Your future's still before you. Okay, I like that one as well. All right, Riley, do you have any thoughts on that yet? And again, it's okay if you don't. We have 2 weeks. I'm just
probing. It's definitely something I'm definitely gonna have to flesh out and brainstorm a bit more. Yes. But it is also definitely having the confidence in herself and realizing her potential isn't something to be feared. But I definitely need to think of more like connections and things for her to like, I don't know, care about.
Of course. Okay, we can table that then. Sounds like you at least have a direction, which is good. Okay, question number 3 is, why is your character willing to risk their life in pursuit of a dangerous foe? Or they simply pay for the task? What makes the money matter so much? Is it out of the kindness of their heart? What gave them so much compassion? Is there someone in particular who is a danger? What makes them so important? Okay, so that's thinking of like, why is your character crazy enough to go after werewolves for 50 gold? We've gone over this for some characters again already. John is motivated by the money because that could be their chance to get that big break that they were talking about, to get into the Tower of Knowledge and make a name for themselves and be important. Nick.
Mine is entirely motivated by my folk heroism.
Yes, you are good and kind-hearted.
Folk heroism.
I'm going to go a little further than that. Why do you feel the need to do these good things? Is it simply because your character thinks it is right? Are they trying to like prove themselves to other people around them, like prove a point that they can be okay? Something a little more like conceited like that, even, or something else. Like if we go here from this spot to the desires and needs from Fiasco, right? So you've got like your generic ones, right? Like you have to be a hero, right? That's like number 2. Even that, it's got like 6 things there that describe further motivations to be a hero. So you have like to one special person. I'm being a hero because I want one person to think really highly of me. Number 2, in the eyes of mentor, I want to like live up to somebody else's expectations. Number 3, lord over everybody else. I want to be a hero because I want to be important to other people and like be better than them and feel confident. Those sort of things. Number 5, if only an appearance, to make up for your own like self-doubt. So like, thoughts on that much?
Get away from all these damned elves.
I'm getting deep into it. You can stew on that for a little if you want.
I mean, I definitely think mine's is gonna be like to prove herself. I guess to both herself and others.
Okay. Thinking that maybe if you can do this one thing, maybe it'll be some sort of proof that you can be all right in the end.
Yeah.
I thought of something cool, but I have to message you privately.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
go
sees
ahead.
it as a means to like fix herself or something. I don't know.
This is the sort of stuff, where that desires thing I posted, it's going to have a lot of good potentially fuel to give you inspiration for these sort of questions, because it helps really get into like why your character is doing what they're doing. So that's why I posted that link, just so you could think about that sort of thing. Kaza, I got your message, right? I think that would be a good one. I would then do a similar question where I would ask, why is that so important that you're willing to risk it? Like what gave you that devotion to that in the first place? I don't want to talk about it too much out loud, so you send that to me privately. So I'm going to try and respect you keeping your cards close to your chest, but thinking about further than that much, like that's your service level reason, but then why is that your service level reason? Like what makes that reason so important to you in the first place? So think on that. Let me jump to present on that message. You rolled 5'6". Okay.
I just sent you that, and it's a 1 word.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like it's a.
Of what?
I told you that he. I sent it in private messages outside of the.
Yes.
Thing.
Oh wait. Oh, like over.
So like that includes.
No, I see
like
on
ropes,
Discord, right?
abominations.
Yeah. Of what? I know the answer for Nick because you sent it to me. I know the answer for John. I know the answer for Riley. Kasper is sending it to me, or is got a private thought on it, and then you're messaging me as well. Okay, so that's good enough on that one for right now.
I vaguely answered number 3 a little bit, but I'm adding to it.
Yeah, you're doing some tinkering here, right? And I'll keep an eye on that. Let's look at question number 4 for the moment. So scroll uppy again.
Did you say that the werewolves are kidnapping children?
They are, yeah. You have a
That's a bit concerning as a guardian of children.
You have a pretty big line for yourself that makes it easy for you. Yes, question
Yeah.
number 4 is what does your character desire above all else? Wealth, power, respect, admiration, knowledge, maybe something more tangible or goal-like, such as immortality or unlimited power. How much are they willing to sacrifice to get it, and why do they want it so badly? So that one can tie into question number 3 really easily, as well as your question number 2. That's sort of by design. That's going more into like what is like your character's background fuel that they are being motivated by to do the things you're doing. So like John, we've already discussed like your character is being fueled by their desire for, I would go so far, I would categorize it briefly as recognition.
Yes,
Maybe
I
not
think that's
even
a good
amongst
word.
your peers, but just like recognition amongst yourself, like feeling like you're living up to your potential, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. I was
so to
thinking
put that
similar
into
word.
terms of the question, how did that manifest into that end goal? Like, does your character just want to have something that they themselves are proud of, or do they want like other people's recognition for their work, or yeah.
Well, and I think there's potential for learning here depending on things going. I think right now the validation that they feel like it would have to be external at this moment in time,
Okay,
like the
so you
recognition
want
of
other people to recognize that you have done something great and memorable.
at least at the start of this adventure for
At
sure.
least at the start. Of course, characters can grow over time.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
the point, but that is your starting point.
Yeah, I think so.
I have to go through all the messages.
Which in
and
turn too
messages.
is like himself. Like he doesn't feel like he's done anything that is truly momentous yet, and wants to. So, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the Twitch went dark. Uh-oh, did it? It doesn't.
The screen.
It doesn't.
The
It doesn't
there's
look dark
3D
to
dice
me.
on the.
Oh, now it's back.
Okay,
There's
maybe
3D
I
dice
was
on the
tabbed
right.
off of it for too long because I was looking at the Discord messages. That could be it.
3D dice.
Here. I don't really need to have it. Samples. Okay.
I already have a height for my character. I'm not doing this.
Okay, I'm looking at your additional notes, Kaza, you just sent me. Let me think of how I want to word this to maintain the secrecy of it.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, so would you say at that point that you feel a personal responsibility?
Correct.
Okay, so...
Because of Suzuki.
Yeah, so you feel like you're obligated.
Yes.
At that point even. Okay. Because of your past and the things that we were mentioning just there, you feel like you sort of have to do this because it's your charge. If it's okay, I'd like to even further ask at that point, are you happy about the obligation or are you resentful of the obligation?
I think he is neutral about it. He's like, okay, this is what I meant.
You just haven't, maybe you haven't thought about it that much yet. It's just sort of almost habitual at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Sort of ingrained.
It's not another day on the job, but it's more of a, okay, well, I guess this is my life now.
This is just how it has to be. It wasn't even ever a question.
It's because if somebody has to do it, he has to do it, kind of thing.
Okay, I understand. Okay, now I'm looking at what Kasper has sent me.
I just added a little thought.
Yes,
don't mind it.
Okay, yeah, that could work out, right? Another element to it. So maybe that could be a further motivation, sort of hiding behind your initial presentation of I'm just a hero and I'm doing what heroes do even. Okay. All right. I like that. We can maybe talk more about that later. I like that.
Cool.
And then we're going to look at number 4 again, which is what you want more than anything else. Yep, you said that. You want that externally. Still looking for something. Riley and Kaza, if you have anything about number 4, about what your character desires at this point. I have guesses, obviously, based on what we're going off of.
Yeah.
But remember that this is more of like the concept of what you desire more than like a specific thing. Unless it is a specific thing, it could be manifested into a material goal, like such as if you like wanted power, then your material goal could be like, I want to like, you know, like be able to do this to somebody. That could be like your goal there. Okay. All right, that works. Kaza looking to. Yep. Okay, that's all good. And let me remind myself of your answers again, Nick. If you want to ask me more questions on these things, that's the display code
Yeah.
publicly. Get that out of here. I'll do that later. Let me not spoil your whole story. Nobody pause on that. I'll look at that later. I was satisfied with it when you sent it to me in the first place, so I'll double check.
I think I can say, without spoiling too much, that I think his main like interaction with that question is that he has already got what he thought he wanted. And like the last part of it is like, how much are they willing to sacrifice to get it? Now he's reevaluating that in his life.
Oh, here I can open it in my other webpage, then it won't share to everybody else. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm remembering now. Yeah, you think you've got it already, but you're gonna find out that maybe you're not actually satisfied with it yet.
Yeah, and I think that whole question in general is something that he is dealing with. Like, what does he want, and what does anyone want, and what are the acceptable casualties for that?
Yes.
So, and I think he doesn't understand where the line is, but that's what he's trying to figure out.
Yeah. So Riley, I don't know if you have anything there yet. Again, you're making your character the freshest out of all of us, so not concerned at all if you don't have it yet. Right? This is some pretty heavy stuff to be asking right away.
Yeah. I'll keep you posted.
All right, works for me. All right,
I'm definitely brainstorming.
All right, we will end with the question number 5, which is a much lighter question compared to the others. Potentially a lighter question, potentially also a deeper question. Question number 5 is, what does your character fear? Is it something standard like heights, spiders, darkness, the undead? More conceptual like being alone, being hated, hurting someone close to you? Why do they fear it so much, and how far would they go to avoid it? So yeah, Nick, I just reviewed your answer, and yeah, I really like yours. It's got really good stuff to work with.
Nice.
Kasper, you had also sent me one as well, which is something that's very good as well. Any of the other 3 have any ideas of that? Sort of the opposite of what we've been talking about so far. Oh yeah, did you send me something too? I think you did. Yes, you did.
DMs, as I flesh out things, I want to have like a more.
Answer to question number 4. I don't have a new DM from you.
No, that was his total fear of that. They all kind of tie in.
Oh, I guess they do. Yeah. Let me wrap my head around that for a second, but I get where it's going.
Let me wrap my head.
With a lot of conceptual stuff. My brain is burning rubber here, so to speak. Yeah, I get where that's going. Okay, I see it. Yes. Also this thing. Okay. Look away for that for a second. What about John and Riley? Any ideas amongst you two?
I want to determine a more mundane fear because I think that seems fun to include as something that he just is like scared of, especially in a gothic setting. Yeah. But just off the dome,
you can do both. By the way, you can have more than one thing you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Mine has a bunch.
I need to think about that a little bit more because I'm not quite sure what yet. But definitely the inverse of of like what they desire, I think, is being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like one of the more internal or conceptual fears.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to find something that they're also afraid of that's more mundane.
Mm-hmm. Of course, makes sense.
So I'll definitely put that in the little document that I type up for you.
Yeah.
Just sent you another tidbit.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that would be fun. Okay. All right. Well, now I'll talk to you again, Riley. Again, new character. I know.
Yeah.
How to think about. Do you have any jumping points?
I think that, very unfortunately for her, I think that she's already lived a lot of her fears, and I think it's just kind of increased them tenfold. But I can definitely work on expanding those.
Mm-hmm. At least elaborating
I've got some
what
ideas.
those are. Yeah. Okay.
Right now, they're mostly like conceptual fears, but I definitely agree with John. I definitely want like some sort of like material fear as well.
Yeah, I think it would not be a bad idea to have one of each. Definitely have at least one. Have at least one thing that would be tormenting to deal with. And you don't need, to be clear, I think everybody's going to give themselves one because it's really fun, but you don't need to have like an existential fear. Like, you could be like really only just be afraid of spider, and then like they'll come up on their own. But, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, think on that. That'll be pretty good. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm already pretty happy with where we're at here. We all have our like class ideas lined out here. We all have like our backstory, our general backstories here that we can follow along with. We all have some ties to each other, and we all have some deep thoughts on our deep characters about how they're gonna mesh with the story and each other. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with our progress here. Honestly, I think we're in a real good spot with a little. When people just finish filling in the patches that this is left behind, I think we'll be good to go, as it were. Yeah. Any of you guys have any questions at the moment, or anything else you think that we should maybe work on right now?
I will always and am still having trouble with the Roll20 character sheet thing.
Oh, why?
Oh, really? You are?
Yeah, it's doing that thing where it doesn't let me actually finish building the character. I don't know why.
Oh, isn't that so fun and awesome and cool?
Yeah. So it didn't take the inputs that I put in there. That's okay. I'll figure it out.
I've not had problems with it like ever. I don't understand why you in particular keep having such egregious issues with it.
Maybe I need a new Roll20 account.
Maybe. Oh boy.
This one's cursed.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. All of you will know at least two of the other people and have at least one person that you're just unfamiliar with. Ready to be wary
that's cool.
of. Ready to explore the setting and see how badly it messes you up. Okay. I'm pretty happy with all this.
Let's see. I don't know anything about John.
Right.
Nick doesn't know anything about Riley. Kaza also knows nothing about Riley. And John knows nothing about me.
I think my name was going to be Reginald Bafflestone.
Reginald Bafflestone, wow. What a name. Coolio.
Feels pretty good.
Okay. Alright, well. My final official request here will be if everybody, hopefully before we do our first session 1, which will not be next week because John's busy next week.
Graduating.
We're graduating next week. We're busy next week. But 2 weeks from now. So on the, I want to say that is the 22nd, top of my head. Let me check an actual
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the 22nd. So in 2 weeks, we will have our first session
Right
1.
before your birthday.
Yes. That is where we will start to properly do the Curse of Strahd. So ideally, before then, I'd like everybody to have to send me their backstory in as much or as little detail as you want to provide, which I will definitely
Can
not
do.
use for evil purposes. And also send me typed out responses to those 5 questions. Keeping in mind that these are things that I will be referencing when designing my own flavor on the module going forwards. So, in a usable manner. I've already got that from Nick in a straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we've been talking about it and our answers have been a little scattered, I'd like you to reformat it into a new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so that I can pin that message and go back to it easily in the future.
Would you prefer it in Discord then?
That would be nice. If you can also just send me a Google Docs in Discord, that too, or something like that, that also works.
Oh, because it'll link it. Okay, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Whatever you want to do. Just as
I'll
long
probably.
as it's in one spot.
I think I'll retype mine a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
I mean we've done some character updates here, so yeah, you'll want to do some
yeah.
tweaking probably. Some of the
Yep,
new information.
I don't think too much will change.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll let you know. Especially the 5 questions. I'm going to retype all of those. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's pretty the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay.
I think
cool.
I got what I wanted to get done here done. Right. Characters
nice.
Are ready
I'm
to
really
go.
excited. I love this pentagram that we made.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's great.
Little concept I borrowed a little bit from a few systems, including with Fiasco partially, which is not really a system per se, more of a normal board game, sort of almost. Not really, but also from Vampire the Masquerade. This would resemble a miniature version of, as Kaza would know, the relationship map from Vampire the Masquerade, in a sense.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. This should be good. Well, can any of you think of anything else that we want to get done while we're all here together right now?
My brain is so empty.
It sounds like a no. Okay, well. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. I will...
this was helpful.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, it seems like everybody has a pretty good image of where they're going to be going with their characters from this point forwards. So, should be good. And I think we'll be rocking for session 0. I think this is going to be a great time. So get ready. We just got to wait 2
Me too.
weeks.
I'm very excited for this.
All right.
Next Thursday, would we want to do like a one-shot or something? We don't have to if you're busy, Peter, but
we could do something. I think I'll be available. It'll be a little close to moving.
Oh yeah.
But
did you get
I
that
move on
signed
the 17th. Yeah, I got that lease.
Cool.
I signed it today. We're just getting some documentation and things in place, and we're good for the 17th though. We got that date locked down. So I'll have I'll have to move all my garbage again, which I love doing. I love moving all my crap every year for the past 5 years. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last one for a while. We'll see.
I'm about to have to do that in like a month.
Super fun.
Yeah, we haven't moved since you helped us move, John, and I don't really want to do that by myself again, so you're going to have to help us.
To come back.
All right. Yep. I officially end session 0 as far as the VOD and live stream are concerned. Goodbye, no one who's in Twitch chat or on the VOD.